Welcome to Mysteries, Myths, and Legends. I'm Taylor.
I'm Savannah.
And welcome to the show. Happy 100 episode, baby!
Yay. I'm like really proud of us for making it this far, honestly.
Yeah, sorry for screaming in your ear, but guys, our goal was 10, and now we're at 100. So, honestly, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And
Thanks.
we're going to keep it going too.
Yeah, of course. And thanks for listening. So, it's lit, guys. Honestly, I know, like, at the beginning, we were like, oh my gosh, we can't believe it's the 10th episode. We can't believe it's the 15th episode. But really, 100, like, no more double digits.
Yeah.
Triple only. It's only up from here. So, it's
Seriously, though. It is crazy.
Yeah. We got big things coming, and I'm excited. And, you know, I had something actually really big planned. Not really big, but just, medium big. Planned to surprise Savannah with on this episode. Since, it's our 100th, wanted to make it a little special. There's this TikToker that me and Savannah really love. And this TikToker, they just so happen to be on Cameo, which if you don't know what Cameo is, you can like order videos from like celebrities or just like influencers or just a bunch of random people like in the world, and it can be like a personalized message or whatever. So I was just scrolling through Cameo and found this person that me and Savannah love, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna surprise her with a video from this person. Talked to them, did all this stuff, like they were gonna make the video, and we've been waiting to actually record this 100th episode, waiting for this video to come in. And this morning I wake up and it says, like, I already paid for it and everything, and it says declined. They couldn't make the video in time.
Yeah, that's such a shame.
It is, in fact, a shame. So, we still love the TikToker. We're not going to air him out, but
yeah,
it's sad. Big sad. But you know what? We didn't need the video anyway, so just, it's the thought that counts, I guess. Sorry.
Yeah, that was just going to be like, an extra little fun surprise, but like, yeah, it'll still be a good episode.
It's fine. We have amazing stories for you guys.
Yeah, no, we do.
But before we get into them, actually, if you're listening to this, like when it drops, the Super Bowl is this weekend.
Yes, it is.
And Savannah is from Philadelphia, if you don't know. And if you do know, in fact, the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl this year.
They are. And actually, the day we're recording this is the anniversary of when they won like a few years ago.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's some good luck. So
yeah.
Obviously, go Birds.
Yeah. Go Birds.
Go Birds. I guess we'll have an update in a couple weeks to see if we were right. But that's our predictions.
Yeah.
Because we're football girlies, and this is a football podcast. So obviously, we have to tell you our predictions.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I am more of like, I go to these football parties and like watch stuff just for the snacks. But, I will root for the Eagles. That's
exactly.
pretty much
and
it.
We can't also forget the concert, Rihanna herself.
Yeah. So that part too.
Yeah,
but
that's honestly more important. But
yeah.
Anyway, go Birds. So
yeah.
Sorry if you're not a Birds fan. But it is what it is. But last for me, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please.
Okay, so I am going to get into a very popular story today.
Ooh.
Have you heard of Annabelle?
Of course I've heard of Annabelle.
Yeah, so
Her
Annabelle,
scary self.
Yeah, she is a very famous doll. A haunted, possessed doll. There are movies based off of this doll. The movie Annabelle, it's like a spin-off or a prequel to The Conjuring.
That movie really scared me.
I was just gonna come out and say that I have not seen either of them.
Either like the Annabelle series or the Conjuring series?
Yeah, I don't think I have.
Oh my god, Savannah. Everybody just collectively boo her with me. Boo.
I'm
Savannah.
sorry.
That's like the best ones. Like,
yeah, well,
in horror. Did you know that the first Conjuring was filmed in Wilmington at UNCW?
Oh, no way, really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yep.
Well,
Fun fact for you.
Maybe that'll make me want to go watch it.
Yeah. It is really scary, though. I can't lie.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, if you're trying to picture what this doll looks like, it is a haunted Raggedy Ann doll.
Disgusting. Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting.
I used to love Raggedy Ann. And I was Raggedy Ann for Halloween one year.
I'm sorry, that's horrible. I know that I talked about it on the podcast before, but my aunt is like a Raggedy Ann obsessed girly.
Right.
And so she has them like all around her house, and she has 2 life size, like human size Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls. And me and my brother fight of like over who's gonna like sleep with the dolls.
Oh my gosh.
Because they're scary.
See, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't think they're that scary.
I'm glad that you don't see it, honestly.
Is it just because of these movies, or?
No, they were scary before. So the story is that my brother claims, and I do believe him, he says that when he was little, they were sleeping in his room, and he saw one of them get up and move, like walk.
Oh.
So, that could have been his imagination, or it could have been real. But yeah, ever since then, we've had like a bad feeling about the dolls. So, and then actually, when I had heard that Annabelle was a Raggedy Ann doll, I was like, ooh, that makes it even worse.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe if I grew up like hearing that kind of stuff, I probably would have been scared of them too, but I didn't. So
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, back to Annabelle. She was in the Occult Museum of Ed and Lorraine Warren because they sort of get involved in this story. I know we've talked about them before, and I'll talk about them a little bit later, but these hauntings took place in the late 1960s, early 70s, and yeah, so I'm going to get into sort of like the backstory and some of the stuff about the movie that was not actually true. So
cool.
Because of course the movies always have to make things even more dramatic.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So, like I said, the real Annabelle doll was a Raggedy Ann doll, and in the movie it is a porcelain doll, which I think would be more creepy.
Yeah, I definitely think like the movie version of Annabelle is scarier than the real one.
Yeah, and I even saw like a picture, like they made it look scary on purpose. Like,
for sure.
Yeah. And in the movie, the doll is given to the pregnant wife as a gift from her husband, but in reality it was given as a birthday gift from a mother to a daughter, which honestly makes more sense in real life too, because like, I don't know, I mean, I guess like a husband would give a wife a doll, but like,
I'm sorry, nobody better give me a doll, first of all, but definitely not my husband. If it had to be anybody, it had to be my mom.
Yeah. I feel like it would be, I don't know, it's just like, it seems like a weird gift to me.
Yeah, I mean, unless he was like, it's for the baby.
Yeah. But then a porcelain doll, like, that's gonna break.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know. That part was like, that maybe it makes more sense if you actually watched it. I didn't watch it, so. Okay, so the person in real life who got this doll was named Donna, and she received the doll for her 28th birthday. So she's actually older than us, yeah.
Oh, no.
And she was a student nurse at the time. Her mom bought the doll at a hobby store in 1970. Some sources say that it was purchased new because of the dress the doll was wearing. The dress, like the print on it, like was not made before the 1970s. But some people say that it was used. So
interesting. Well, couldn't they have used the doll and then just made a new dress?
Maybe. I don't know, because like I think the doll, like the dress that it came with was a dress that Raggedy Ann came with, but only after 1970s.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So that's why people are saying, no, it's probably a new doll. But I guess if it was like an old doll, then that makes more sense as to why it was like haunted.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I just want to say like that it was new. I feel like it was probably new. Okay, so Donna lived in her apartment, and she shared this apartment with her roommate Angie, and Angie had a fiance, Lou, and he was staying with them at the time.
Okay. The whole
So,
squad's there
yeah, three
with
of
this
them.
doll.
So at first, the doll was just a cute addition to Donna's room. And at first, like, she didn't really have a name. It was just the doll. And it started to get more strange once they found the doll sort of moving around.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
think like the doll's moving around at first. I would be like, somebody's trying to prank me.
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah. But I guess when you ask everyone and they're like, no, I didn't move it. It's like, oh. I mean, I would still think somebody was.
Yeah,
So
I would be
don't
like,
know.
somebody's lying.
Yeah. But the doll would move like subtly at first, sort of staying on Donna's bed because she would leave it on her bed every day, and it would move slightly. Maybe sitting on the floor instead of the bed, or she would also leave it on the chair. So sometimes it would sit on the chair or on the floor, or somewhere that it didn't really belong. But like a lot of the time, it looked like, oh, maybe it just fell.
Yeah.
And then it began moving around even more. So, like, more unexplainable. So, it would be, like, on the couch instead of the bed. Or outside of Angie's door. Which is creepy. Like, why is it outside of your roommate's door?
I would have never let it get past that point. Let me tell you that right now.
Yeah, well, I don't know. And they would also find it kneeling. And when they would try to make it kneel, it would just fall over. So they're like, how did it get to kneel like this? Because if you don't know, Raggedy Ann dolls are like very floppy.
They're very floppy. Very floppy.
So like, I don't know how they would get it to kneel like that.
I can't even imagine a Raggedy Ann doll kneeling.
Yeah, I don't know. They said they saw it like that a few times.
Ew. Oh, that really makes me want to throw up. Please, if y'all don't know what a Raggedy Ann doll looks like, go to our Instagram and look at it. Because,
yeah.
Ew.
And this is all confirmed by her roommate and Lou. And actually, Donna and Angie didn't really believe anything bad was happening. It was Lou who was the one who was like nervous about the doll moving around.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so Donna and Angie both thought like, oh, somebody must have moved it. Like, there's something to explain it. It's not really, anything to worry about. But then Lou was starting to freak out. He's like, no, guys, I really don't think anyone's moving it.
I'm Lou in the situation for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So this actually happened for about a year before Ed and Lorraine Warren come into the picture.
A whole year?
Yeah.
Okay, see, at that point, I'd be like, y'all, I would believe it after a year because I'm like, are y'all really still doing this prank? Like, they wouldn't be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, nobody would take it that far.
There is a few other things that happened before they came into the picture, too, I think. Yeah, okay, so, you're gonna freak out about this next stuff, honestly. She began writing them messages.
How does she know how to write?
And this, I don't know. And this also happened in the movie, so this part's kind of true. She wrote messages on parchment paper, and they didn't have any parchment paper in the house or in the apartment. So that was a question. Like, where did she get this?
Worse. That's worse than the doll just writing. Like, she left. She went to, like, Walmart, grabbed some parchment.
I don't know. I don't know how she got
it. No way.
Yeah, and the notes said stuff like, help us and help Lou.
Help Lou?
Yeah.
Oh, Lou, baby, you better get out of there.
honestly,
gotta
like, as
go.
I keep going here, like, I don't think she likes Lou.
I think that might be clear, even just from this first note.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, okay, so next, what happened was there was some blood, you know.
Um,
Some blood appeared on the doll.
um, oh, absolutely not. And
And
like they were for sure it wasn't like some red paint.
see, there's not really any, they didn't really test it, I guess. It's just some red substance that looks like it could be blood.
Mm-hmm. That's
And this part's
wonderful.
like according to the Warrens. So a lot of the stuff that I got from this is sort of their account of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they were even really here for this part, because I think they came in afterwards, but they sort of said that this happened. That there was blood on the doll. Like, Donna came home from work to find the doll in her usual spot on her bed, but the doll had blood on the back of her hand and 3 drops of blood on the chest.
What the heck is she doing?
And I don't know, there's no explanation, and it seemed like it was coming from the doll.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Ew. That's even worse.
Yeah, I don't know how you can really determine that. But
Well, I mean, I guess yeah, I don't either. Did they, guys, why are we not cutting her open?
I don't know. I don't know. But they didn't do that. So like I said before, like, it was just a red liquid, and it could have been something else.
Yeah.
But they just all thought it was probably blood, which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what made Donna and the rest of them, they wanted to contact a medium.
Oh, this is what made them want to do that.
Yeah. And this is actually, so I said the whole thing went on for like a year, but this was actually 4 to 6 weeks after the first paranormal activity began.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Good. I thought you meant had waited like the year before.
Yeah. So this, yeah, no.
Good.
So that they called the medium, right? And she held a seance. And basically, she said that their apartment complex used to be like a big open field, and a 7-year-old girl was found dead in the field many years ago. You know?
Oh no! Like at the apartment that Lou and them live in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
their apartment complex, it used to not be there. It was just giant field.
Mm-hmm.
And this 7-year-old girl, and her name was Annabelle.
Oh.
So that's where the name Annabelle comes into place from this medium. And her spirit, the spirit of Annabelle, was in the area that she died in, because, you know, she was found in this field, and her spirit just stayed there after she died.
Yeah.
And then the apartment complex was built, and then I guess she got to roam the apartment complex. I don't know. And so she somehow, like, found their unit, their apartment, and found the doll, and she was like, "Oh, I like this doll." So Annabelle's spirit and the doll, like, became one, and she became the doll.
That is wild.
Isn't that weird? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I kind of feel like what other way would it even happen? Because, like, dolls are haunted, dude. We've covered many haunted dolls before. Yeah. Weird stuff is happening with some dolls.
I'm just saying, like, I guess I don't really know how long the apartment complex had been there for, but and like how long this girl was dead, but
yeah,
why did it take her so long to find something to possess?
Well, like, maybe she liked the people too that, like, it was going to, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't really know. True. But maybe. And also maybe she was like, that doll kind of actually looks like a person.
Yeah.
Because honestly, was your Raggedy Ann doll, like, kind of big? Because mine was.
No. It wasn't. I actually, I didn't have one. My grandmom did.
Oh, your grandma. But it was so small.
Yeah, not like a huge one.
Yeah.
Like you're saying. But.
I don't know. Weird.
Yeah. So when Angie and Donna, they found out that it was a 7-year-old girl, they were like, oh, like, we feel bad for her. So they're like, you can stay. Like, she can keep possessing the doll. It's just, like, she can...
Okay.
They felt sorry for her, and they didn't want her to be alone.
Okay, so I get that side of it. But also, we have to also understand that, like, demons sometimes pretends to be, like, little children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sort of get into that a little bit later.
Okay, sorry. Okay, no spoilers.
Yeah, but, I don't know, like, this side of it, like, I kind of get, because I'm like, she's just...
No, it is really sad.
She hasn't really done anything wrong yet.
Yeah, you're right. She's just moving around. She's honestly just living her life.
Right.
So, I see where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm. Like, if I just had, like, a friendly ghost around my house or something, I wouldn't care, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would care if it was in a doll, but, you know,
Okay.
I do see their point.
Like, I don't want to see this doll just, like, get up and start walking around.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you move around a little bit, I mean, I would still get freaked out.
Yeah.
But...
You'd be chill with it.
Yeah, maybe I'd be more chill with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So they sort of say that she can stay. And actually there is some like contradicting information with this, because Ed Warren, he actually stated that Annabelle died in a car crash outside of the apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that she was 6, not 7. And he also said that the doll was given to Donna as a Christmas present, not a birthday present. So, like, he had some contradicting information.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I feel like I want to believe the other version of the story.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Okay. So, moving on from that. So, unfortunately, Annabelle has... She did end up causing some physical harm.
Just slight physical
harm. A little bit. But not as much as in the movie.
Okay,
so
good.
In the movie, I guess she, like, attacks people.
Dude, in the movie, she's like a serial killer.
Yeah, so she's not like that. But there's a little bit. So Lou...
No.
He had been staying with them this whole time. So the doll knew him. And he did not like the doll. Mm-hmm. He kept saying it was evil.
Okay.
And one night...
Lou, why would you keep saying that it's evil? It can hear you.
Maybe I don't know. You can't just, like, live in fear. I don't know.
I would surely live in fear.
And just, like, not say things out loud.
Well, I guess he's not like, yeah, this doll's gonna hurt me. I see.
Yeah. So one night he woke up and realized he couldn't move.
Oh, good.
So I'm guessing this is sort of like a sleep paralysis situation.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he saw Annabelle at his feet and watched her slowly go up his leg and over his chest.
Mm-mm. I have no words for that.
Uh-huh. And this next part you won't either. The doll, he says that she strangled him until he passed out, like went back to sleep.
That's my worst nightmare.
And then he woke up in the morning and he swears this has happened and it's not a dream. But I don't know. I feel like I've never had sleep paralysis, but I've heard that you can be in a dreamlike state. Like, he could have been dreaming this.
Okay, so I've had sleep paralysis, and it feels 100% real when you see something in the room. And I don't know where I stand, because I feel like when I had my sleep paralysis, I feel like it was actually there too. So, but is that just how you feel? I've only really had it like one time really serious. So, like, I don't know.
I don't know. I think it was his mind playing tricks on him
Yeah,
because
he is so scared of it.
yeah, because he thinks that it's evil.
That's true. Or what if Annabelle is just like extremely smart and knows that that's like a good excuse? So she's like, yeah, I'm doing it.
True. I guess it could go either way.
Hmm.
I don't know. So there is some like explanation on why she would have done this. Kind of. I mean, not really, but kind of. People have theorized maybe Lou reminded her of a man that treated her badly in life.
Yeah. Or even like the man that like killed her.
Yeah. Or maybe she just didn't like him.
Facts. Maybe she's like, no men.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because weren't the other two girls?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe she just didn't like men.
Yeah. And I don't know, regardless, she seemed to show her true self to him because he just was the only one who saw her for being evil.
Mm-hmm.
So there's also another time, unfortunately, Lou gets into another interaction with her.
Oh no.
One time Angie and Lou, they were hanging out like normal, and they heard a noise from Donna's room. And Donna wasn't home.
Okay. Bad sign already.
Yeah, so at first they thought it could be like an intruder, but then they realized they're like, no, like that's Annabelle.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how they like went to that. It was probably Lou. He's like, no, it's that doll.
Yeah.
Like I can picture this whole thing.
Me too.
So Lou went into Donna's room, brave.
Big brave.
Yeah, he went into her room and he did not see an intruder, but he did see Annabelle sitting on a chair instead of the bed like she should have been.
Mm-hmm.
And he had like a bad feeling in his gut, like something was wrong, which, I mean, also could have been just because he does not like this doll.
Yeah, and
thinks
also
something's gonna
he's
happen.
scared because this could also be a home intruder.
Yeah. Like hiding or something.
Yeah, like he doesn't know.
But he felt this really bad feeling in his chest, and then he felt a pain on his chest. Like something was clawing at him, but
Oh.
nothing was on him.
Oh my
And
god.
then he like under his shirt, like lifted up, there's claw marks.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
What the heck was clawing on him?
I don't know. But it looked like someone jumped at him and scratched him. And nobody was there. So how did this happen?
That's crazy. And
he-
the other girl saw that happen?
Well, I don't know, cuz they just said that like Lou went into the room, but I guess maybe she was probably like behind him. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And even if not, he probably left the room and he was like, what happened to me?
Right. Yeah, right. That's crazy.
So he's like, this is Annabelle. Like, we need to get her away from here because she just scratched me.
Yeah.
The marks were somehow healed really fast. Within 2 days, it was totally gone.
What?
And then after this happened is when they called the Warrens.
Okay,
So.
good. I mean, finally.
Yeah, exactly. And before I get into the Warrens, there's some other things from the movie that didn't really happen in the real life story that I'll just mention. In the movie, the doll starts a kitchen fire, but that didn't really happen. They were never attacked by a satanic cult.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. In the movies, they try to throw away the doll, and it appears later
Yeah.
on in the house, but this didn't happen. They never tried to throw it away. So. But, I mean, honestly, I feel like that would have happened.
No, for sure.
If
Oh,
they did,
I definitely would have. I feel like one of the most iconic scenes in the movie is when, I mean, not to spoil it. I mean, the movie's old, so sorry. But, like, is when he goes into the bedroom and she's, like, sitting on, it's like a rocking chair in the movie. And she's just sitting there rocking before she attacks him.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's iconic. It's pretty scary, though.
Okay, well, yeah, that's not a real life thing that happened. But
Yeah.
So the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine Warren, we have talked about them before. They were paranormal investigators, big paranormal investigators, and Ed claimed to be a demonologist, and Lorraine claimed to be a clairvoyant and a medium. They, Donna and Angie and Lou, they called the Warrens in to look at Annabelle and see what was going on. So, the Warrens claimed that Annabelle wanted to take possession of Donna's soul.
Okay.
And they said that Annabelle was a demon, not the ghost of a little girl. So, yeah. And honestly, I feel like they're obsessed with things being demons. Or maybe just everything they've went to actually was one.
Yeah, I think that their, like, beliefs was that, like, it's always, like, demons.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but that is, like, very, like, a common theme with, like, ghosts, like, or whatever, allegedly, you know, that they, like, will pretend to be something, like, sweet and innocent to, like, get you.
Yeah, true. So they called in a priest, and this priest came in and exorcised the apartment, which I don't even know. You sprinkle holy water everywhere. I don't know.
Yeah, and say some prayers. I don't know.
Yeah, and the Warrens, they took Annabelle with them. So they drove home with her on the back roads because they were afraid that if they took the highway, that Annabelle would cause an accident.
Yeah, I mean, that's a valid worry.
Yeah, because it's even more valid because they did have car problems. Yeah,
That's
like
so
the whole way
scary.
home. Yeah, their power steering failed, their brakes failed, and the engine kept stalling.
What?
Yeah. And they got the problems to stop for a bit only by sprinkling holy water on Annabelle.
Oh, I really don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Once they got home, Ed put the doll on his desk and they claim that she levitated. Like on that instance and on multiple other occasions, she levitated over the desk.
That's weird.
Yeah, so I guess that's probably how she was moving, is
Just
what they're gonna say.
levitating. That's so wild to picture.
Yeah. For some reason, like, her, like, actually walking around is creepier to me.
No, I think so too, because, like, if she looked more human, that's way more scary.
Yeah, yeah. Like, it's not even that, like, it's kind of scary for it to be levitating, but that makes it seem like something else is doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, I just feel like if I'm, like, being chased, I imagine if I'm being chased by something, I would rather not be running after me, like, down the hallway. I'd rather be, like, levitating, floating at me, you know?
Yeah, and, like, even if it's going the same speed, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's less scary. I think it's because it's, like, higher up instead of, like, ground level.
Yeah.
Because, like, the doll's small, you know?
Or you're probably right, it does make it more human.
Yeah, definitely.
For it to be running. Yeah. I don't know. But when they said levitating, I was like, that is so much less scary than I was thinking.
It really makes it less scary.
Yeah. So, anyways, so she stopped levitating and they were like, okay, I think she's done. But soon Annabelle was found in several different rooms throughout the house, like at different times. Like she was moving around this house just like she was moving around the apartment. And once she was put somewhere, she would move somewhere else. You know, so she wouldn't stay in one place long.
She could not sit her little butt down.
Exactly. And they ended up calling the priest back. They're like, can you come to our house too? And he did, but he was like, guys, it's not that serious. And he said, he was like saying that Annabelle couldn't hurt them because it was just a doll. So I guess he didn't believe them. He's like, this doll is not moving around. You're lying.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like, I mean, it really depends on what priest you get to do this stuff, because a lot of them, I feel like, don't really believe in that stuff.
That's what confuses me. Like, what do you mean? Because didn't you sign up for that, like, to believe in it? Like, what? Because I've heard the same. Like, you
believe in God, but you don't believe in, like, demons possessing things. That's, like, a whole other thing.
I see what you're saying. Well, But why couldn't he just sprinkle some holy water, you know?
Yeah.
Make him feel a little bit better.
I mean, I guess he did, but he was like,
oh, okay.
But he was like saying like, guys, like this is not serious. You need to stop calling me out here for this.
Honestly,
he's like, call me out here if someone's like actually sick and dying. That's my job.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that, but at the same time, like if I had to call a priest, I'd be like, please just come over here. Like I feel like you have to know it's serious if you're calling the priest to come over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like at least to you,
yeah, that's
it's
true.
serious. I don't know. I understand both sides.
Yeah. So I guess the priest didn't believe them when he went into the house, but after he left, he I think he started to believe because he got into a car accident.
No, stop. Wow. See, listen, now he should not have said that.
Yeah, and let me tell you how bad this was. He got into a car accident leaving their house. The car turned over because the brakes failed, and the car was completely smashed, but the priest survived. He was badly hurt, but he survived.
Wow. That is crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. She was like, "You don't believe? I'm gonna make you believe."
I know.
That's really evil. Like that's like evil.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I know. So Annabelle is still around today. Like nobody ever like tried to destroy her or anything. She is kept in a locked glass case that the Warrens built to keep her from moving. And putting her in this glass case actually worked. So that's how they were able to stop her from moving around and being so evil. Mm-hmm. So on her box or whatever, there's a sign that says "Do not touch," and there's a cross. And some people say that they have seen Annabelle moving around her little case trying to get out. There's not really any proof of this, but people say they've seen it. And she was in the Warrens Occult Museum in Connecticut, but it has since been closed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It closed after Lorraine died in April of 2019.
So sad, because I always wanted to go there.
I know, yeah. Seemed like it would be cool. And the doll and I believe some other items from the museum have been in different shows and things since, like sort of traveling around. Mm-hmm. I couldn't find out where she will be next.
Dang it, because I want to go see her.
I know. Yeah, maybe there's just nothing right now, but I did see like some tickets to go see her that like for a date that had already passed. Mm-hmm. So we'll just have to keep an eye out.
Yeah, wait for her next tour.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that is the story of Annabelle.
Wait, okay. Before the end of the story of Annabelle, do you remember, I think it was either right before quarantine or like right after quarantine had just started, but it was like all over the news, top stories, Annabelle had like broken out of her box.
What?
You don't remember that?
No, I would have included that if I... Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like it was like this whole frenzy of like people, like she was missing. Like people couldn't find her like at all. And I think that it actually was real. Like I think I don't remember off the top of my head exactly what happened, but I think what happened was like they were switching boxes and somebody didn't realize that they were switching boxes. So when they got to her box and it was empty, they were like, she's missing.
Yeah.
But she wasn't actually. But like for 2 days, like the whole world was like, oh my god, Annabelle's going to show up at my door.
Oh my god.
Which was so
That's
funny.
Crazy.
But update, she was not missing. So we're safe.
Yeah.
No, that's such a crazy story. I love the Annabelle story. It's just so creepy.
It is. And honestly, up until like, I don't know, I'm still like, I want to say if a doll was just moving around my house, I'd be fine with it. Mm-hmm. But maybe I wouldn't.
Yeah, I just don't think that you would. But here's my question. Do you believe their story? Like, do you believe that this actually happened and that this doll is haunted?
See, I do believe I feel like I can believe, like, the part that she was moving around. But then the
Yeah.
rest of it is, like, a
Yeah.
little bit too far-fetched. Like,
That's
blood randomly showing up on it.
yeah, that's
And then
kind of
her
what I'm thinking.
scratching him. Like,
Yeah.
no.
That's kind of what I'm thinking cuz like when people say scratches, like I know it can happen. For sure I know it can happen. But like it just kind of leads me to believe like I think that he might have like Lou might have wanted that dog gone. So like he went in the room and like scratched himself up like real bad and was like, "Oh my god, Annabelle did it."
Yeah, no, he definitely could have done that.
You know.
And, like, the car problems, I don't know
Exactly.
if I
Like
believe
are
that
y'all
either.
just making your story so you can make more money off of the story,
Yeah,
you know?
and the whole thing with, like, the Warrens sort of doing that, like, hyping up their stories.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a whole story on just like the Warrens in general one day because
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff about them.
yeah.
It's tea. But wow, that was a great story. Love Annabelle. If you haven't seen it at Savannah, go see the Conjuring movies and Annabelle. At least I haven't, I don't think I've seen all the Annabelle movies because I think there's like 3 or 4 now. But I've definitely seen the first two. And the first one's really good. Not the second one though. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I need to go and watch them. At least the first one, I
At
guess.
least the first one, yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
not. You honestly skip the rest, but the first one, yeah, you should.
Okay, I was going to watch it, like, for this story, but then I didn't have time, and I just didn't. I wasn't in the mood for a scary movie. So,
No, I get that. Except, I mean, I don't because I'm always in the mood for a scary movie, but I get it.
yeah. Okay. Well, what do you have for me this week?
Okay, well, for you this week on our 100th episode, I knew I had to do a big story. Okay, and so I've been saving. This one's been in the back pocket since honestly day one. It's a story I knew I always wanted to cover. So, for you, I have the legend of the Roswell Incident. Dun dun
Oh
dun.
my gosh, taking it back, and also, like, to our friends, Ned and Nebula.
Ned and Nebula. I got Ned right behind me. So such a cutie. Ned and Nebula are our little alien Build-A-Bears, in case you don't know. Look on
Yeah.
Instagram to see how cute they are. They are adorable.
Yes.
Yeah, so, this 100th episode is, like, obviously such a milestone for us. So, like, obviously we knew we needed to do some, like, pretty big stories. Like, Annabelle, that's a huge story. And so I was like, well, we love a good alien situation. So might as well tell you the most well-known and the most documented alien incident that's ever been recorded.
I'm
So
surprised we haven't done this yet.
I know. Well, it's a big one. So I think that's why. That's why I haven't done it because I just knew it was going to be
Yeah.
a thickie.
Yeah,
But
this episode's gonna be long. I love
for
it.
sure. But you know what? Buckle in. Get some snacks for this because you need it. So we're going to set the scene. It is 1947, and we are in Roswell, New Mexico. So this incident actually happened during what they call the flying saucer craze of 1947, which I didn't even know was a thing, really.
Yeah, I had never heard of that.
Right, me neither. But, okay, so on June 26, 1947, media was spread across the nation that, like, it had reported that civilian pilot Kenneth Arnold had just been, like, flying his, like, little plane that he owned, like, privately. And when he was in the air, he had seen what has today become a flying saucer. Like, a silver, pancake-shaped, disc-shaped, like, machine in the sky. So it's kind of like the first ever flying saucer scene. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So that happened in 1947. So when the news of that broke, obviously people were like, "Oh, I've seen flying saucers." And that like people were like, "Yeah, airplanes are flying saucers." For a while they didn't know how to differentiate. So anyway, that's what started the flying saucer craze of 1947. And this kind of also jump started like the fascination, I guess, of like aliens in general. Because like once this happened, like people were like, well, are aliens real? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And honestly, like, before this, were there a lot more non-believers?
Oh, I think like nobody even really kind of even knew what an alien was.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this craze sort of brought it about, like, started getting people thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were like, wait, what's flying that? And they were like, it doesn't look human to me. Which, honestly, it probably was, just because there are a bunch of military bases around here. And I'll get into that. But, like, you know, technology that they hadn't seen before, they're like, yep, that's got to be an alien.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of what started the whole thing. It's really cool. So, after Kenneth Arnold's, like, story came out, over 800 copycat sightings were reported in 1947 alone, just in this one area. That's a lot. Okay.
Yeah, that is a lot.
So, it's like for sure that some of these are not real, but it's possible also that some of them are real sightings, you know? We'll never know. So, crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like statistically, at least, like, 1 or 2 has to.
I was going to say, like, maybe, like, 5 to 10.
Yeah.
You know?
I could see that, too. Yeah.
Because also, we're not saying they're aliens. We're just saying, like, they're, like, UFOs, like, unknown, unidentified flying objects.
Yeah.
So yeah, that started in June of 1947. So, like, about a month later, on the night of July 5th, 1947, this rancher, his name is W.W. Mac Brazel, okay? I'll call him Brazel from here on out, just because his name is just too long.
Okay, yeah.
So, he was making this trip from his ranch into the town of Corona, New Mexico. And it had only been a month of this, like, flying saucer craze at this point. And actually, Brazel, his ranch was, like, completely off the grid. He had no phones, no radios, no internet, no nothing. Like, completely cut off from the rest of the world, this guy. So Brazel had not heard about these flying saucers yet. So keep that in mind. You see, 3 weeks prior to Kenneth Arnold's first flying saucer report, so the first guy that saw it. So this happened 3 weeks before that one, which is considered in history to be the first. This rancher, Brazel, actually found some debris on his land, like on his ranch, pretty far off, like on one corner of his ranch. And so this debris that he found, it was a bunch of tinfoil, rubber, and a bunch of, like, really thin wood beams, like, all scattered across, like, a square mile of the ranch.
Okay.
But because he hadn't heard of anything, you know, and also it had the flying saucer, like, start hadn't happened yet, he was like, whatever, you know, who cares? Let me just clean it up. I got to clean it up because this is my ranch. So he literally just starts gathering the debris and, like, puts it in a pile, like, to get rid of it, like, one day.
Okay, so he just, like, basically cleans up a crime scene.
Yeah,
like, not
but
a crime
he had
scene,
no, like,
but...
he literally was probably just like, oh, the wind blew something, you know? Like, he had no idea.
Yeah.
But that day, July 5th, when he was going into town, he actually, let's see here. He had, like, went out to this, like, bar, and they were talking, like, people in the bar were talking about, like, this flying saucer craze, and he was like, wait, what are you talking about? And, you know, people told him the story, and he finally the dots were connected, and he was like, oh my God, like, I have to go home. He was like, I have to go home right now. So, you know, he went home that night, and at that point, it was dark, so he was like, I'll just do it in the morning. So, it's now Sunday, and Brazel spent the whole morning gathering all this debris up, and on Monday morning, he took it to the sheriff's office in Roswell, New Mexico, and the sheriff called the Roswell Army Airfield, and this guy named Major Jesse Marcel was assigned to the case officially. So,
okay,
we're getting into it now. So Brazel, the original OG rancher, takes Marcel, who is, and there's a bunch of names in this, so I'm trying to just help explain, you know, who is who. So Brazel's the rancher. Marcel is the, like, agent assigned to the case.
Okay. See, and I'm so bad at keeping names straight, so...
I got you. I'll keep reminding you all the way through. Don't worry.
Good.
So the OG rancher and the agent head out to the part of the ranch where he found the debris. And when they got out there, he realized that he actually didn't clean it all up. So there was still more debris out there. And specifically, it was more rubber and tinfoil out there. So now what's really important to add is when this like debris was found, the two guys noticed that even though like the debris was like all like pretty relatively small and like thin, like very thin in general, it was kind of like Thor's hammer where nothing could like hurt or penetrate it. They would try to like hit things off of it and it would like bounce right off.
Okay.
They tried to take a sledgehammer to it and it bounced right off.
Oh my god. Okay, so it's some sort of material that doesn't seem earthly because it's not breakable.
Yeah, like what's going on?
Okay.
Like they're not, yeah. So that's weird. And that was like with like this foil substance that they had found. So they were like, okay, that's not normal. That's great. So they collect, all that they can or whatever. Oh, and it's also said, so they were like kind of out here in this field doing some experiments on like this stuff. Because they were like, we have a bunch of samples in the lab. Let's just do whatever we can out here. Which I would do the same thing, honestly. So it said that when they would pick up some of the foil in their hands and kind of like jumble it together, like squish it together in their hands, when they stopped, it would pop back to the original shape that it was in. So like I imagine crumpling up a piece of paper and then when you get done crumpling it, it just pops back in like no wrinkles, full crisp sheet of paper.
That would really freak me out. Oh my god.
Yeah, that would freak me out too. So that's weird. So they're like, yeah, okay, that's wild. So Marcel, the agent, ends up collecting all of that and taking it to his base commander, Colonel William Blanchard. So this is like the big guy, army boss. So Blanchard had the material. He like did all these tests in his lab, but he wanted to make sure like all of the tests from his lab matched. So he like flew it to a different Air Force base and had it examined there as well. So anyway, I know that's a lot. So recap. It's now Tuesday, July 8th. So just a few days after like all of this has been discovered.
Okay.
Public Information Officer Walter Haut, and so he worked for the Army, okay, and he was basically like the correspondent person to like make announcements. He issued a press release stating that personnel from the Air Force Base had recovered a flying disc which had landed on a ranch near Roswell. Okay? So literally the Air Force's first press release is saying, we have found a flying saucer in New Mexico.
Okay, so they're basically saying that it's not theirs too.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're saying this amidst this flying saucer craze, okay? So when this was released, obviously people are like losing their minds a little bit because they're like, oh, now it's real. Like,
yeah,
if the Air Force is coming out about and saying it, like, okay, it's real. So people started really freaking out. And also that was kind of like the first time, like the possibility of alien, like they kind of just admitted like aliens might be real for the first time ever in history.
Yeah. And then what is the alternative? Like,
exactly.
You said the U.S. This is the U.S., not like the state.
Yeah.
Saying this.
Yeah.
So if the U.S. doesn't know what this is, then that could be, a threat from another country.
Exactly. Like either way, it's not good.
Yeah.
It's a threat from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And a threat from anywhere is not good. So, yeah, people were panicking. And the public was also very vocal about, like, hi, we need more answers than just this. Because, like, we don't feel safe. Which completely understand.
Right.
So, on July 9th, which was only one single day after the original press release, the Air Force releases another one. Okay? This time, the press release says that the first press release was incorrect and that the debris was in fact debris from a weather balloon kite.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the Air Force weather officer, like on duty, explained to the reporter that quote unquote ray wind devices were used at like around 80 weather stations like in the country, and so they weren't like super popular, but they were like somewhat common, you know. So he basically describes it as like multiple balloons like attached to like a 6-point reflective device. It just kind of looks like a silver star is what he claims this weather balloon to be. And so they claim that they launched this balloon because that's how they tell the weather, allegedly. And when they did, it actually went a little bit too high. And so when it got up and like the altitude was increasing, it ended up bursting around 60,000 feet, which that's what caused the debris to fall on the ranch. Allegedly. Yeah.
See, that would be more believable if they didn't come out and say, we don't know what this is.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So they did make the guy, Marcel, like the original agent who actually went out to the site, take a photo with the quote-unquote weather balloon debris that he found. So I did send you those pictures, and it's like the first one that I sent you with the man like on the ground.
Okay.
If you want to look at it, all these pictures are going to be on our Instagram if you want to see them. So definitely go check those out. But in the picture, you can clearly see like he's holding like a piece of it up, you know, and his family actually came out and said like once these pictures were released, his face just doesn't look like he even like he's looking like he's kind of making a joke out of it, like that. Like he doesn't fully believe like in what he's holding, because like this picture is supposed to be the agent proving that this is a weather balloon.
So yeah, the man who's like sitting on the ground.
Yeah. So that's Marcel. That's the original agent who went out there.
Yeah. No, you're right. He kind of doesn't really look like he believes any of this.
Exactly.
Which is like, you should have faked it more for the picture, honestly.
Right. But like, no, we'll get into him a little bit more later. But Marcel's family also said that like, that he personally told them what he's holding in that picture is not what he found in the field that day.
That's what, yeah. See, that's what I was afraid of, because you were saying that once you crumple it up, it goes back to its shape.
Exactly.
And
you can
look like it.
Clearly see that's very crumpled.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so I think that's why his family's like, that's why he looks like that, because he's like, they're making him hold this up, but like, that's not what he truly found. You know, but it's not like he can go against orders. So all of that is very suspicious. Okay. Very suspicious.
Yeah.
So if you're following me, from this point on in the story, like maybe you don't believe that whatever crashed that day in Roswell was like this alien flying a like spaceship, you know, like, and that was the debris. But you absolutely cannot say that the Air Force was not just even a little bit suspicious. Like, what are they doing? Like, how are they going to release a press? Like, I just can't believe that they let him release. Like, and obviously, people had to go through, like, with what he had to say and approve it. So, crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, let's see here. Sorry, I lost my spot. Okay. So, the people, you know, in the town and around, and people who had just been hearing about this, like, they were just kind of left to believe, like, in whatever they wanted to. Like, people didn't know what to believe. Like, was it a weather balloon? Was it an alien? They don't know. And they just, you know, had to just wonder. So that happened in the 1940s. Okay. And so we're going to skip ahead. Okay. There was a big renewed interest in the Roswell incident in 1978, which is almost 40 years later. Okay. So pretty much for those 40 years, nothing else was said. Like, it was kind of forgotten about. Like, you know, not really. People remembered it, but kind of forgotten about until 1978, when UFO researcher Stanton Friedman actually interviewed Jesse Marcel. And Marcel was the agent, the only other person who truly saw the debris, like, where it fell. Okay. So this was huge. Very, very, very huge. So there are actually multiple filmed interviews with Marcel, and the things that he said in the interviews completely contradict, the statements that he had originally made back in the 40s. In November 1979, Marcel's first filmed interview, it was actually featured in a documentary called UFOs Are Real.
Okay.
And
pretty straightforward there.
Yeah, you don't really have to guess what that one's about.
Yeah, getting right to it.
Yeah. And it was actually co-written by Friedman, so the UFO researcher who originally, emailed him or interviewed him or whatever. But so the film was actually on a limited release, but then it would later be broadcasted everywhere. So it did get kind of popular. So I just wanted to read a quote directly from what Marcel said himself, because I think he just says it best. So he says, and I quote, "They wanted some comments from me, and I wasn't at liberty to do that. So all I could do is keep my mouth shut. And General Ramsey is the one who told the newspapers to forget about it, and that was no more than a weather observation balloon. But of course, we all knew differently." End the quote.
Okay.
So this man is literally yeah, they're liars. Big fat liars.
And he's just admitting to lying as well.
Yeah, and he was like, they kind of made me because I didn't have a choice, literally.
So, oh my gosh.
In my opinion at this point, if the only 2 men in the whole world actually went out to this ranch to see what was out there, and one of them who works for a huge government agency is coming out and saying they're lying, that's very suspicious, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
Definitely. So at this time, all of this, stuff was going on, but there was also a bunch of different, rumors and conspiracy theories going around, okay? And one of the biggest rumors that was going around at the time was that alien bodies were also found at this crash site. Okay.
Oh, okay. And where did this come from?
So
it just started going around, or is there a source?
It does come. I'll get to that in just a minute where it comes from.
Right.
But let's see. But before I get to the alien bodies, Marcel ended up giving his last interview to HBO's America's Undercover, which actually aired in August of 1985. And he said everything that he said in these interviews was always true. But he said he denies once and for all, he personally himself did not see any alien bodies out there. So just keep that in mind. He said, he said, you know what, there could have been, I guess, I don't know. But me, myself, and I didn't see any. So.
Okay. Is this the only thing that he's sort of denying?
That's the only thing. Yeah, that's the only thing.
I did lie about this, but I didn't see any. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yep. So we're going to move forward to 1980, where 2 guys decide to write this book called The Roswell Incident. Okay. So all of the research up until this point is put into this book. So the 2 authors, Charles Berlitz and William Moore, actually wrote other popular books on topics that we've actually covered before. Okay, so they wrote one on the Philadelphia experiment, which we covered in episode 66, if you want to listen.
Ooh, got the sources too.
Yes, and they covered the Bermuda Triangle, which we covered in episode 15, if you want to listen to that one too.
Yeah, that one was a while ago.
Yeah, it really was. When I was looking what episode, I was like, wow, 15, and now we're at 100. And no, I'm not going to stop saying it throughout the whole episode.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the book's narrative pretty much says, this alien craft was flying over the New Mexico desert observing U.S. nuclear weapons activity. Because as I said, there is a huge Air Force base right near Roswell. So they're like, it's just aliens spying on the government. And that's what it is. But tragically, they crashed after being hit by lightning, which killed the aliens on board. And then a government cover-up went down. So that's what they think happened. These UFO researchers who wrote this book.
All right.
That's their theory, which, honestly isn't too bad of a theory.
Yeah. Like, do you believe it or?
I don't think it's that dramatic, honestly. I don't even know if it was aliens, but I'll tell you my full thoughts at the end. But so their theory actually is one of the most popular ones as to what people believe happened at Roswell. So,
Okay.
there's that. People actually really, really do believe that. And this book actually was the first place to introduce the rumor of the alien bodies being found at the crash site. So,
Okay.
yeah, obviously this book is highly criticized, but it's also very popular. So we don't really know if we can trust it. It's just kind of up in the air. Yeah. So anyway, moving right along, the Air Force still denies that it was ever aliens, and that they fully to this day are like, no, the debris, it was a weather balloon. So to try to convince the people, because the people were like, it's not a weather balloon, we don't believe you. So they were like, fine, we'll show you. So they decided to actually release the Roswell report, which is supposed to be, allegedly, all of the information that the Air Force have on that. And so they were like, we'll give you everything we got and then prove it to you.
Okay.
However, I don't know why anybody would ever believe, like, oh yeah, totally the Air Force is giving us their full file on what they have. Like, like they can say whatever they want and be like, yeah, this is the full file. Like, it's not the full file. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when have they ever released a full file of anything? Like, there are secrets in everything. So I just already don't believe. So they say in the Roswell report that their original spokesperson, who had said that it was like the flying saucer, apparently they were like, this guy was just very much so caught up in the flying saucer craze and that he wanted it to be that, and so that's why he said that. And I'm like, guys, you're telling me his speech didn't get passed through like 4 different people before y'all made the announcement? I don't believe that. I just don't. I really just don't. So moving forward again, in 1994, the U.S. military came out and said that there actually was a cover-up in regards to Roswell. So yet again, for like the 4th or 5th time at this point, I've lost track because they've done it so much, they have flip-flopped their story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, guys, y'all should have just kept the first one, honestly. Like, y'all flip-flopping ain't making it no better. So, in 1994, they say there actually was a cover-up, but it was to cover up a top secret military operation, and that the debris that they found was a very special weather balloon that was a part of a top secret operation called Project Mogul. And so Project Mogul, it is actually a real project. Like the Air Force, that was like they were actually really doing that.
Right.
And it was used to determine if microphones like put up in the air, like really far up, like in space, and different like, whatever, like troposphere or whatever spheres, how far like an air balloon with microphones on it could pick up people talking. So they said that, they said that this was to be used to hear if an explosion was happening miles and miles away. But I believe that we all know that they just want to spy on us. So.
Yeah, I think that seems more likely, honestly.
Right. But I'm like, my question with this, they're like, no, that's actually, the weather balloon that fell. It was like our secret weather balloon, but we didn't want to tell you our secret. But I'm like, that's not that big of a secret, guys. Like, aliens would have been a bigger secret to tell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, making up these new stories is just so stupid.
Yeah, honestly.
You're just convoluting everything.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't know. It's insane to me. So, let's see here. So, let's kind of get to the evidence, like, if really any, like, of this debris actually being from an alien spaceship, okay? So obviously there is no like hard proof that says like 100% this debris is like alien. So there's tons of speculation. People really believe it. Some people really, really don't believe it. You know, it's a whole thing. So, but there were over 300 witnesses to this actual thing exploding that night. And so the issue was that like since it was the craze or whatever, like some of them were fake, but the police were actually able to determine that only like 41 of them, 41 out of the 300 had a little bit of like substance to them, and 23 of them like had like very much so reasonable evidence to be enough to like look into like what they saw. So you know that's like 50 people out of 300. That's pretty good, you know.
Yeah,
to,
that is.
Have cases. So yeah, let's see here. Yeah, and so some of these you know, witness accounts, and probably most of the fake ones, had said that they did in fact see a body fall out there. And specifically, people were saying that it was a gray alien body. And that this like gray alien body that they saw, quote unquote, looked like the ones that Betty and Barney Hill claimed to have seen. Which, if you remember, I also covered that story in episode 61.
Wow, we have all the episode references today.
Yes, we do. I had to make sure they were there because, guys, go listen to them. They're really great episodes. Because, like, kind of, honestly, all of these stories do kind of tie in together. So, you know, it's important.
Yeah.
So, but, like, you know, those claims weren't really believable because these were the first people, you know, Barney and Betty Hill, to be abducted by aliens, allegedly. And when they came back and said, like, what the aliens look like, they were like, yeah, they were these gray aliens. So the police were like, these people are just being influenced by Barney and Betty's story. So that's how they, like, kind of tested, you know, if it was believable or not.
Okay.
So, yeah. Let's see here. Sorry, I have continued to lose my spot today. Okay, so even though I've been talking all this slander, like, I don't really believe an alien body was out there, personally. But in the 90s, it came out that the military had been using testing, like, they had been, like, testing parachutes for, like, their, like, Air Force men, and that they were using human-shaped dummies with gray skin, okay? And so once this came out, they were like, oh yeah, that's actually what you guys are seeing is, like, it's not aliens. It's actually these dummies that we're using. So that even more convolutes the story because they were at first like, there's no aliens, you know? No bodies.
Yeah.
And now... And now, years later, like, oh, they're like, oh, no. The bodies that you saw, those were just, like, testing dummies. Like, do they even know what they're talking about?
Yeah, like, if they were, why did they not just say that in the first place?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you guys have made up so many lies at this point. Like, I don't even know what to think about anything. I don't even believe there were aliens out there in the first place. And then the government... and the military are going to come out and be like, oh no, those are just our testing dummies. Like, sir, most people didn't even believe there were alien bodies out there to begin with. So, you know, then you just have to look at it like these people, this military is just making up stories to deny every claim that's being made. Yeah. So that makes it even more suspicious because I would say personally, just based off the evidence of what happened, I wouldn't really think that that was an alien encounter. Up front, I would think it was like something the Air Force was just trying to hide. But the fact that all of this has gone on and like all of these disparities in the stories, like, it's very suspicious. Like, something obviously is going on, in my opinion.
Yeah, because like why make up all of these random, like, don't, they're not giving all of the facts right away because they didn't think of them all at once. You know,
Exactly.
that's
And
why.
because they didn't happen.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Like,
So,
like, yeah, they're making themselves look far, far worse. So, one other fun fact is that it's important to mention that former President Donald Trump, while he was the president, was actually pretty forthcoming in regards to like aliens and stuff like that. And so when people were asking him about the Roswell incident, this is what he said. Quote, I can't talk to you about what I know about it, but it is in fact very interesting. Unquote. So that's very hidden, obviously. But you know, that's interesting because I really believe that the presidents kind of know very much so the situation on the aliens.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's interesting.
And like the fact that they do know makes it seem like has the US government talked to these beings?
Oh, I definitely think they have.
You think so?
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay,
because if you remember, like in the I think it's the Barney and Betty Hill episode, like President Eisenhower, he was a full on like alien man. Like he was so down for the aliens. So down. And like he was releasing all kinds of stuff about aliens.
Okay. Do you think that the government is working with them or that they have some that they captured in a lab somewhere?
So, yeah, so what I was going to say actually was that Eisenhower claimed and said publicly that he was working with aliens.
Okay.
But then after that, like I'm pretty sure Ronald Reagan came in and was like, we can't talk about the aliens. Or maybe it was Nixon. It was either Reagan or Nixon, I don't remember. But one of those two. We're like, no, sir, we're not doing this alien business. And so then President Eisenhower like shut the whole thing down. So I do think at least at one point they were in cahoots with the aliens, but I don't know if they're working together now.
Right. Okay.
So, but that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So the people in the town of Roswell, like who actually live there, you know, they're pretty split actually on whether or not they believe it. Like, and pretty much they either very much so believe that it's aliens or they very much so don't. But either way, they don't really care because Roswell, New Mexico is like a very tourist location because everybody wants to see where this alien business went down. And everything there in that city is alien themed. Like when I say alien themed, I mean everything. Like restaurants, stores, everything got aliens. So like I really want to go, you know. Just cute.
I feel like it would be cool to go. I know a little bit. See, I'm about to say that I know some stuff about Roswell just because about this show that I watch, but I feel like it's not. It's definitely not the same.
Were you gonna say like the Roswell, New Mexico show?
Yes. Have you seen it?
Yes.
It's a CW show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I get my idea of Roswell from.
Yeah, well, it is kind of like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it is. It really.
Yeah, because I think the main character, the main girl, she like her family has an alien restaurant.
Yeah, an alien restaurant. Yeah, and they do have those there. Yeah.
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 Okay.
So it's
cool.
Yeah.
It seems like a cool desert town.
Exactly.
You know, with some cowboys and.
Exactly, and so listen to this, Savannah. Every year they have an annual UFO festival in Roswell, and it's always the first week of July. And that's actually the anniversary of the incident. And actually, last year in 2022, it was the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident.
Oh my God.
So
we should have gone.
Well, yeah, I didn't know, but that doesn't mean we can't go this July.
Yeah. Wait, so it's like the weekend of the first?
I think the whole festival goes on like for an entire week.
Oh.
So like,
okay.
Yeah. Like we could just go some points of it, but like, yeah. So I love that. I love that for them, you know. And they might have aliens, but at least they have fun with them. And like also, if we go out there, like what if we actually do see an alien? Because, like, if this is true, listen, I don't know. From the get-go, I was like, I don't believe that it was an alien. But the fact that they're just trying, the, like, military are trying so hard to cover it up, I'm like, well, okay, maybe it is.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
So.
Or are they trying to cover up something else?
Well, that's not, well, regardless, they're definitely covering up something. And I don't really care what it is. I don't want to deal with none of it.
Yeah.
If they have to try that hard to cover something up, I really don't even know if I want to know.
Yeah, that's true.
Because ignorance is bliss sometimes, people.
Listen, all I do know is I want to go to this festival.
Me too. No, not a want. It's a need that we go to this festival.
And the fact that it's 4th of July week, like, that means days off of work.
Exactly. Okay, perfect. Okay, already we're planning our trip, guys.
Us just making plans right now. Live.
I mean, what else? What else do we do? Honestly, every episode is us making plans to go trips.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, that is the legend of the Roswell incident.
That's so
honestly
awesome.
A mystery in my opinion, not even a legend, because I don't know what happened.
Definitely.
Truly, I don't know. I might think I have an answer, but then I just don't know. Not at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely please go check out our Instagram. You're gonna have to see the pictures this week, like, no doubt about it. And rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And thanks for listening to literally over 100 hours of us talking.
Yeah, I love that for us.
That's so crazy. It's unbelievable. And honestly, cheers to the next 100.
Yeah, we'll be in about 2 years. We'll have 200.
Yep, we'll be here.
That's
baby.
crazy. Oh my gosh.
That's kind of all I have for you guys this week. What about you?
Yeah, I think that wraps it up.
All right. Well, I guess we will see you guys next week.
Okay, cue the music.